Okay, class. So I have to try and figure out how to do a lab dissection for a brain without actually having you here. So, sorry, this is the best I could think of. So what we're going to do in this video is go over some of the parts of the sheep brain, and this is a sheep brain that I want you to be aware of. So I'm going to show you everything on the outside. We'll cut through. Very boring dissection. Sorry about that. Then after we cut through it, we'll identify some of the structures on the inside as well. So sorry, you're going to be looking at my belly most of the time. Okay, so here we have a sheep brain. This is going to be the front of the brain in this area, posterior aspect of the brain, so anterior, posterior, the top and bottom. We got something coming off the back end called spinal cord. So parts of the brain I want you to be able to identify. In this anterior portion that you see right here, this is going to be called the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe. We have, what's going to be next? Parietal lobes. So that's going to make up the top portion of the brain and over here as well. Then we have the temporal lobe, which is going to be this region right there. Next, you have the posterior aspect of the brain right there called the occipital lobe. Other lower structures you can see on the outside are going to be the cerebellum, which is this little mini brain hanging off the back of the brain right there. And below that, we have the spinal cord right here. If we go to the bottom of the brain, we have an area right here, show you from a different view. This area right here, known as the pons. That is the pons. Next thing I want you to be identify, we have two little things sticking up right here. 1 and 2, they help form an X down here. That's going to be called the optic chiasm. Next, we have the olfactory bulbs, which are little bulbous swellings that most of the bulb, honestly, is cut off on this. But it would be right there. And what's called the tract is to bring it down like this, and tract is over there as well. Also, on the outside of the brain, two areas. We have the corpora quadrigemina, which you have the superior, those two bumps you see up there, and inferior, two little bumps, inferior colliculi. So as a whole, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's corpora quadrigemina. Next, we'll dissect into the brain. Just going to cut it down the middle. Nothing special, incredibly boring dissection. The reason why we're going through this is because the brain will technically be on the final exam dissected. Either a live specimen, assuming we're in class, or a virtual specimen, if we have to do this online. But you will see a dissected version of a brain. Okay, so now that we're inside the brain, things that you can still see and identify with. So this was the cerebellum, this little part that hangs back here. You can still see part of the corpora quadrigemina right there. 1 and 2, superior and inferior colliculi. Inside the cerebellum, we have all this white matter. You can see how it's more of a whitish. And inside the brain, you have all this that's whitish, and you have this grayish. That's called gray matter, and the whitish stuff is called white matter. And we'll go over that inside the notes. But when we have inside of here, inside the white matter, inside the cerebellum, this is called the arbor vitae. Below this, you can see an area right there that still sticks out. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust it to the light, but this is going to be called the pons. We have that down here. Inside this middle area, we're going to talk about this. It's a thick band of white matter that you can see right there. It's going to be called the corpus callosum. There's going to be a region of the brain, kind of like a ball in shape, around here. That's going to be called the thalamus. Sorry, I'm trying to get to it. Thalamus. Below it, so inferior and anterior in this region, you'd have something called the hypothalamus. And that's, something else that you can kind of see of. If you open up the inside of the brain, you go in this area. I kind of took some of it out. Let's see if I can see it. Oh, I can see a little bit better on this side. There's some darker tissue that you can see right there coming out of this. and that is going to be associated with, oh, why am I forgetting the name? Choroid plexus. There it is, choroid plexus. Let's see. And that's it for the inside of the brain.